Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm the Barehand Brawler.
And today we are going to be looking at the TLD RPG from Billy Blue. Look at that cover.
Great cover.
I do dig the cover. It definitely, has some creepy vibes. For those that can't see, the cover is like the lower half from like bridge of the nose down of this toothed, bloody face with a big old smile on it. I really like it, and it's got like, and that's it on the cover. So
Yeah.
I have the softback and the hardback. They're print on demands from Drive-Through, but it's a pretty dope cover. And yeah. And we'll get into that in a second. But how are you, buddy? I feel like we have been kind of back and forth sick for like since Zine Quest, I think. So hopefully we're back on track. Yeah, look at us. Look at us.
I think I just have allergies. So I'm great, man. I've just been I've been working. I'm doing some professional certifications right now. So I've been doing that nonstop. And then when this episode's done, I'm gonna do that again. So how about you?
There we go. I've been doing nothing. I've burned through all my PTO because we've been overstaffed at work for the last couple months. It's been great to feel like a slow rolling vacation for the first quarter of the year, which the first quarter of the year is done, which is crazy.
Oh my God. Don't fucking say that. What the fuck?
I know, and the other crazy thing too is we were talking about like peeling back after Zine Quest, but I feel like the next 2 weeks we like stacked up again. But at the end we will talk about a lot of really cool stuff that we have coming out in the next 2 weeks. And if you're listening to this, make sure you go back and listen to or watch our Trophy Dark side quest we did just this past week with Josh and Stella, who are now our default side questers. Besties.
Yeah, that too.
Best friends of the show. But for all of our side quests, it's pretty much either going to be Josh or myself running the games. So probably Josh and Stella Condre will be our in-house third person, and unless they are unavailable, and then we will get a third. We with side quests we were kind of like rotating players in and out, but we love playing with Stella so much, and their availability is perfect for ours that we just said fuck it, like you're just part of the team now. So
they are incredibly funny. So
yeah. So welcome both of them as what amounts to permanent members here on the Weekly Scroll Podcast. Hi guys. Hi. But that's it. Like I said, we have a bunch of stuff coming out in the next week to 2 weeks. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But why don't we hop into TLD RPG? So before we get going, I do have a little write up here. TLD RPG. So this is a lean, mean indie RPG gaming. It's OSR influenced with high action and low crunch. Old school feel with new school mechanics. That was the pitch on Kickstarter. This is the game by Billy Blue and Paper Airplane Games. Boop, boop, boop. It's right there. I think it's in the Paper Airplane Games right there. It's a nice little paper airplane logo that's not focusing. Boom, whatever. You get it. So this is pretty much all Billy Blue as far as I can tell. Art, there's like one guest piece from Michael Harmon, who does amazing stuff. We've looked at some other games that have their stuff on the show before. Editing from Jert, a friend of the show, Jert, our Not Cat Chatter. This was successfully funded on February 17th of 2023. With 144 backers pledging $2,862. So, this is one of those ones where someone who at least I've always seen is primarily an artist in the space, then puts out their own game. And we'll be doing a couple of those this year. I think maybe we even talked about like theming a month, but then we're us.
Sure.
So
we'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see. But let's hop in. So, TLD RPG. Rules Like Game by Billy Blue. Paper Airplane. Special thanks to a bunch of people. A long list of names here. Hey, Billy Blue's in the chat. Marcus Linderum, Alan Barr, Douglas Cole, Mark Parrish, Muv, Michael Harmon, Billman, and Jerk Crater. Those are some. That's a list of names there. You know, Alan Barr, Michael Harmon, Jerk, Marcus Linderum. Great stuff. So kicking it off, we give a table of contents. So the one great thing that I can only imagine is cool if you're an artist is you can put as much art as you want in your own book. Which I will say, this book does not lack for art.
Yeah, it's got some really great pieces in here. Especially when we get to the into the ability pages. There's some really cool character pieces I like. You know, I love a wizard guy.
Yeah, for sure. And there's also this kind of dirty texture throughout the book. I don't know what I'm trying, like a grungy,
speckled
splatter throughout, that's consistent. And also, you know, aside from I think just one piece, it's Billy's art through the entire thing, so there's a consistency of the art. So right on the table of contents page, you have this like skull shooting out from the left side. Art and game by Billy, editing by Jert. So let's what do we got for digital tools here? So we are fully bookmarked, which is really nice.
And hyperlinked.
So we do have a hyperlinked table of contents, but I'll say this. We'll say this to we do this sometimes. What's a one-liner for your impressions of this before we get going?
Dice pool fantasy game.
Gotcha. So yeah. You know what I feel like we've seen a bunch recently is that, like, I feel like we've reviewed a bunch of games that have really good bones and would probably have really good 2Es. You know? I think that, to me, this kind of falls into that, as I think a 2E of this could really go off. Because I do really like it. I think it's got great vibes. I totally see where they were going when they made this. I just feel like maybe like a step or two more would have got them where they really wanted to go. So we'll go over that here. But I will say right off the bat, I do really like this game, regardless of anything I say after this point. So yeah, hyperlink table of contents. We got about 100 pages in here. If you have so they're POD, which I mean is great for distribution, but you know they're very glossy. They're not going to be the nicest books on your shelves, but I will say that the drive-through prints have gotten slightly better. If you have just the paper copy, it only goes to about 70 pages. And if you have the hardback, it goes to 100 pages. That's why I told you to read the hardback one, because the paper, the softback one, softcover, those are words I'm looking for. Digital tools, the hyperlinks on that are incomplete. They just become page numbers eventually. But the hardcover PDF feels complete, and like they added another 30 pages and a bunch of stuff, like all the generators in the back, all of that stuff's not really, most of it is not in the softcover version. But so we get to the table of contents, introduction, character creation, playing the game, combat, and then a bunch of other status effects, weapons, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, you have a look on your face. Guest artist Michael Harmon. This is another little piece here by Michael Harmon. And then page of a sad little soldier boy person, a soldier person with a spear, hood up. Then we get to
love a spear and shield. You know, very very. You know, I'm trying to play in the phalanx. You know,
bro. I mean, here's the thing. So obviously, you know, none of these games are actually accurate to humanity at all. I mean, we all know studded leather wasn't really a thing. But man, I wish that more games really appreciated the spear, and had better
Yeah,
mechanics for it, because
totally.
the spear was fucking insane, dude.
It's funny. I
Um,
know I've been referencing this game a lot in the past like months of our episodes, but like I'm still playing my solo game of Wolves Upon the Coast,
mm,
and I use a spear in that game because it actually is incredibly useful.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, so TLD RPG, we get one obligatory page of what is this and what is an RPG. So TLD RPG, TLD for short. Um, does it ever say what TLD actually stands for besides like the standard like too long didn't read TLD RPG? Am I
wait, does
what?
it? Uh,
I don't know. Billy's in chat and we can ask. Um, but I do like the TLD RPG. It's a fun kind of reference to being a rules light game, which I enjoyed from the first time I heard it. Um, so it's a rules light role playing game designed to get you and your friends into the action as quickly as possible. So it says this game assumes you have a little familiarity with RPGs, but even if you don't, that's okay. You will pick it up just fine. A glossary of common terms, an example of plays included at the end of the book, just in case. I really like that they tell you right off the bat that all of that stuff is at the end. You can jump if you want. So it does. I will say. So it says TLD doesn't try to anticipate every scenario. It's deliberately incomplete, with enough rules to get you going, but not enough to get in your way. You aren't going to find every answer in the book. That's okay. Your creativity, role playing, all that stuff. I will say, I'm completely fine if that's the last time I heard that you could just do what you want with it. But I think the desire to make sure that you understand
yeah,
that is like really pushed hard throughout the book. And I think once you get permission once, that's more than enough. Even once is more than for some people out there that say, of course I can do whatever I want. It's my game now.
yeah. I will say that I think this is one of those games that we go over that has a what's an RPG where I'm like, oh, I could actually see this being someone's first game. Like,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
absolutely,
Yeah.
this could absolutely be your first game.
Well, I will say that this is 100% definitely a system. Like there's little to no. I don't even think there's really any like implied setting in this by any stretch of the imagination. It's pretty standard, like Western medieval European fantasy. Like I don't even think there's any like implication for anything else. So it is just a system. There's no like rounded out game or anything. But like you said, like this is something that someone could be like, oh, this is a nice rules light little system for sure. So it does have a what's an RPG. It's a role playing game. GM describes a situation. Players describe their reactions. Dice are rolled when characters attempt blah blah, etc. etc.
Yeah.
I do have a little note here. It says see page 28, the test. Then the GM describes the outcome. So a little nod right there to the game mechanics. I will say this is not inline hyperlinked.
I would say it's not, huh?
No, and every other instance of the word page is written out as page instead of PG period. This is, I think, the only time that's run up. So there's a little inconsistency there. I will say it's nice to see this.
God, who edited this thing, man?
It does say in the beginning here, see page 28 for the test, which is good because we were talking about it before the show. It's you don't know any of the dice mechanics of the game at all until you get to page 28. They're not mentioning any part of character creation whatsoever. So it's nice right in the beginning. But I will say that the core mechanic, being told to find the core mechanic on page 28 in the what's an RPG section, I would have maybe bolded or put it on the side or something, because I'm sure many of us in the scene immediately skip this entire page.
Yeah,
because it is the obligatory what is this game.
I might have skipped this page.
Exactly. So put it in. I mean, there's a reason this layout is, when we'll get to that, has all this blank space on the side. I think it would have been really good if you're going to indicate like an important, thing to check, to pull it out of the what's an RPG section, maybe even put it up in just the TLD section, or put it in red on the side. What you need, stuff, D6s. All right, getting into your character, let's talk about this layout a little bit right off the bat. So this is definitely, it's reminiscent of the classic Explorer template, and that's from Clayton Notestein. It's like a mostly like columned system where 1/3 of the page is left blank, so you can like write notes and things in it. What are your thoughts?
Funny, I actually have the grid system basics by Clayton Notestein on my hotbar, if for referencing it. Yeah, it exists. You know, I don't find it like incredibly offensive or anything.
Yeah,
I don't feel super strongly about it, I guess is what I should say.
Gotcha.
It's readable.
I probably have stronger feelings. I think the layout is really readable. I just think that so we'll get into it. So on the first page of your character, the entire left third is blank, and then there's one sentence. It says, grab a character sheet and follow this outline. I don't really understand the purpose of the left side bar, because there's a weird mix of like sometimes direction, sometimes bonus stuff, sometimes different things, but like it's a lot of empty space on the page for what amounts to 7 words and a letter that could easily have been plugged in.
I hate an overly crowded page, so I think actually I'm probably more on the side of this is good rather than bad for me, you know?
I'm torn. I'm torn because I just feel like it's a I mean, at the end of the day too, like if you chop, it's like 1/3 of 100 pages. You could save 30 pages by not having that space.
So would you say that Into the Odd would save a bunch of space if they didn't center everything and put small amounts of text on every page?
No, but I think the Into the Odd layout is better. It's more artistic than this. I think it uses that space in a way that makes more sense in this. Like, I just don't, I feel like this column, I think, was like, we can put notes and directions here, and then they just kind of lost the way going through on like what was a note, what's a direction, what's this and that. I don't mind the layout. I just think if it was going to be used in this way, it needed to be used more thoughtfully. You know, there are a bunch of directions here that could be here on the side, and we'll get to that. But anyway, I just want to hit that right off the bat because that's something we'll see all the way through. So character, you start with attribute points, right? You have mind, body, and spirit. Mind is mental power, magic. It's used for magical attack and defense, memory, willpower, technology, etc. Blah, all the mind stuff. Body, which is your physical power, melee attack, defense, everything. Spirit is dexterity and finesse. Spirit. I get the whole mind, body, spirit part. Like it's very classic 3 parts, but like it's ranged attacks and defense, manual dexterity, social interactions, avoiding sprung traps, deception. Spirit just is a weird word. I don't think it fits well.
It's so, I don't know. I don't think it's awful, but like I think it's close to another word that I'm searching through my almost empty brain for. I get the direction they were going for it, you know, like the quickness of spirit or whatever. But yeah, it's a weird choice of word.
Yeah, I think it's so this kind of defines kind of how I feel about a lot of parts of this game is that like I see what they're going for, and it works.
Right. It's a little inelegant. It's a little clunky. Well, yeah.
So the attributes, because we're going to get in a second, we're going to get into like derive stats from our attributes. So I get the whole mind, body, spirit thing. It's supposed to like encompass like the attributes of your character.
Yeah.
But like I would never take, like it says mind is mental power, body is physical power, and then spirit is dexterity and finesse. I would never think spirit, dexterity and finesse. I wouldn't have minded if they just went more with like finesse or something here, or like, you know, having like a mind and 2 body stats, like a speed and a strength kind of thing, with body, as opposed to going into like the mind, body, spirit thing. I think like a strength, speed, mind would have been, it wouldn't have changed anything, but I think it would be more applicable to like the way it's used, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I a little bit like am sick of how everything has the same names for their attributes. So I appreciate the trying to like change dexterity away from being whatever dex or quickness or whatever.
Well,
but yeah, I think
but I mean, we've both tried to make RPGs enough that I've burned out my thesaurus for like the 5 words that actually apply. So like, there's only so many ways you can say like move quickly, but not like, you know, top end speed. Anyway, so those are your 3 attributes. It says each attribute starts with 1 point, and those are your 3 overarching attributes. You assign starting XP, so each character starts with 5 experience points to improve your attributes during character creation. To improve an attribute to the next level requires XP equal to that level. Pretty classic. So if you want to get to level 2, you need 2 experience points. If you want to get to level 3, you need 3 more experience. If you want to get to et cetera, for each individual attribute. And then you get your stats. So stats are derived from attributes. So you get mana, HP, gear, and luck, right? Mana is equal to your mind score plus 1, and it's how you cast mind abilities, because we're going to get to abilities. Mana refills after a rest. HP is another derived stat. It's your body plus 3. It's your health. 0 HP equals death. HP refills after reset. There are 2 death mechanics in here, one given and one optional. We'll get to that. Gear equals body plus 4. It's just every item carried has a weight. Gear tells you how much. There is a bit of a little bit of like a quantum inventory in here that I like. We'll get to that too. And then luck equals spirit plus 1. This is spent to use spirit abilities. Luck does not refill after a rest and is instead earned by critical failure and difficult success rolls or as an award from the GM. We'll get to that. Again, on this entire page, there is 1 paragraph, 1 sentence here in that left notes column. More info on abilities can be found on page 11, not hyperlinked. Choose 2 abilities. So we have attributes, we have derived stats, and then you get 2 abilities. Pick 1 ability per attribute point assigned. For each example, if a character has 2 spirit and 1 body, they get 2 spirit abilities and 1 body ability. Makes sense. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy logic.
And then on top of that, you choose a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pick 1 related to your character's background. Skills are explained on page 8. I like those are references to page numbers. Just hyperlink it. I know it's a pain in the dick, but you know, it's there. So we have, I will say, it starts to feel less rules light once you have attributes, stats derived from those attributes, abilities, and skills, and then other stuff on top of that. It does start to feel a little bit less rules light, and a little bit more pushing towards rules medium once you start having to keep track of so many different things. Continuing with character creation, it says gather equipment. Pick or make up starting weapons. Be sure to write it down in the weapon category. It's light, medium, or heavy, so that's the weight that it is. And the damage that it is. So I do like that. And that's one of my favorite things to do. I don't give a shit what light weapon you're carrying. Make it up. Make it your own, but it weighs the same and does the same damage as every other light weapon. I do really enjoy that was like slimmed down, so you don't have like a list of 50 fucking different like short swords, and then it says weapon and shield and armor suggestions are on page 46. Take 1 small potion that heals 2 HP and choose 1 miscellaneous item relevant to your character's personality. This item doesn't necessarily have a mechanical effect. It's just for role playing. There's a lot of these like kind of inserts throughout the game where it's like it really is pushing hard to like role play a lot, which again, I understand what they're going for. There's just a little bit of an inelegance in the way that they push it over and over and over again. And finally, make up the rest of your character details, like their age, name, appearance, etc. In the future, you might even consider hiring an artist to illustrate your character. Nice little ad right there in the game from the artist. I really like that. That was great.
That's a very funny line.
Yeah, I really like it. We're on to gear. I do like this box here. and I don't like the box for two different reasons. So it says, it is assumed that adventurers are carrying basic adventuring equipment like backpacks, rations, etc. This doesn't need to be spelled out. If your character needs something and it's like one of those basic ass things, you just have it. If your GM wants you to have it, like it's whatever. Like you don't need to keep track of like every little, like every piton and hammer, like the basic shit. You just have it, and you don't even worry about the weight of it. I like that. To me, that's clean. What are your thoughts?
I think for this game, it's great too. You know, like some games, I'm like, yeah, like no, count your stuff or whatever. But this is a great game to like, yeah, no, obscure that away. This is a fun role playing game. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, if it's a piece of equipment that doesn't really fucking matter, then it doesn't fucking matter. I will say that if you take one hammer and that hammer becomes like your signature shit, at some point I might like assign a weight to that and it becomes like something that you carry on your belt or something. But again, that's up to the GM. I will say the reason I don't like this box is it is a different font than all the rest of the game, and it's a different font than all the rest of the light blue boxes you find. You don't see this font again until the bestiary. It is also the footer font, which I also don't like it down there. I just don't like this font kind of for this anyway, but it's a different font than the rest of all of these like blue notes boxes. My other thing too is like, why do we have these blue side note boxes when we have a third of every page empty for notes and directions? That's my other thing. Not this page, because there's a big old piece of art here, which I do like. It's a great piece of art.
It's
but
a good piece.
You see what I'm saying? There's like some incongruous, PC is limited in how much they can carry. Most items have a weight from 1 to 4. Standard carry, you already said, is body plus 4. So small items can be bundled. There you go. Character levels and leveling up. So this is I have notes on this. So in TLD RPG, a character has a level for each attribute between 1 and 7. When a rule or ability refers to level, this means to use the level of the relevant attribute. Okay, so we're saying that if your attribute is 3, right, say mind, you have mind 3, then you are mind level 3.
Right.
Why?
I don't know. I was wondering that too. I'm like, well, isn't that just mind 3 still?
It's just mind 3. Yeah, it drives me.
We'll get here and it'll be like a roll level here in a little bit, but literally it could just be roll mind or whatever.
Roll mind, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is another kind of thing that happens through this game. It's just a lot of like inelegance trying to like, I feel like there was a vision and they just like shoehorned just a little bit and it kind of creates this lack of elegance throughout that like doesn't make it bad, but it just makes it feel just like a little clunky throughout. But just like this, so like a character levels, the assumption one is level is like your whole whole character, not your
but this
individual
is
attributes.
Levels. It isn't true. Like I don't like the concept of like there aren't character levels, right? You just raise your attributes. Character level is nothing in this essentially. I like that fine. And I wish it was just called that. But
there's an example of here how to do it. The next section, the next header is called leveling up. So my note says if leveling up just means increasing an attribute, you could easily just call it attribute increase. Instead of adding another keyword.
I think that the issue that we're seeing here is that it's, I don't know if shoehorned is what I would say, like overly keyworded, overly keyed. Like there's just a lot of words that kind of like mean very similar things or don't mean exactly what they say that don't need to be in here. Like, I don't think it's character levels. Leveling up doesn't bother me as much because you are leveling up a stat or an attribute, right? But the character levels, I'm like, it's not, you're not character leveling.
That's what I'm saying, is if you're not going to use like character levels, you don't need to use leveling up because you're not leveling up. I guess
increasing attributes would be more correct in that circumstance.
But I feel like that's kind of like the vibe that we run into a bunch of the game where it's like, I don't dislike this. I just feel like there's a cleaner way to do it.
Yeah.
And that comes up over and over and over again throughout this. It's just like, it's fine. But it could just be cleaner. So leveling up means spending XP to increase the level of an attribute. Just like doing character creation, it can be done after a short rest. So you get stuff when you level up. The amount of XP spent We already talked about you can improve the selected attribute by 1. I assume like if you like, it's just telling you. I don't think that's a hard and fast rule. Like if you have enough XP to increase a level by multiple times, I assume you just wait. You can wait multiple short rests. You can do whatever, but it says increase by 1. It says improve stats accordingly. So your derived stats increase when your attributes increase. And then it says choose a new ability for the new slot. Which must be the new type. So this was a weird word to me. It's just its slot is never used anywhere else again. I understand that it's just like you have this like attribute point that hasn't got an ability assigned to it. It's just a weird way to word that, because then you go, wait a minute, are there slots?
Wait, where are the ability slots?
Exactly. So it's just that could just go away. Earning XP and luck. I have thoughts. Oh, another PG. No period. No space. Earning XP and luck. You earn XP or luck when you have a critical failure or difficult success. Look at page 33. You demonstrate excellent role play. We'll get back to that. You finish a difficult battle. You reveal a secret about your character. You complete a dungeon mission area or do anything else the GM feels is worthy of award. Demonstrate excellent role play. I don't like it. I don't think it should be in here. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. So like on one hand, you're like, oh, so people who are not great at role playing never get this. But yeah, I mean, I think that my biggest point is if you're a bad role player, like which people are sometimes, and they sit at my table and they're still fun to play with. So I guess maybe I would probably take role play out and just put excellent play, and you can just define that however you want at the table. If that's making a really funny joke or being really great in role play or doing something really cool. But yeah, I wouldn't limit it to just because, I mean, some people are just not good at role playing. I'm not great at role playing. I just make quips, I make quips and I do little voices, and they're bad. My voices suck.
That makes it funny though.
Yeah, I will say that I do love the art piece on this page. And I like the skull on the page before this because I kind of like twisted skull on the last one that has like one eye still kind of looking at you. Yeah. Very, very good and terrifying.
Yeah, and the bottom jaw is off. I do want to point out we're gonna have 2 more pages with that third column on the side completely empty. Demonstrate excellent role play. To me, like you said, it's built-in punishment. It's not a reward. Yeah, it's not a reward. Like it's because it can be there. I prefer when I play a game people that are super invested in and are in first person. To me, that really helps me stay immersed. But third person role play is also totally fine. You don't have to have a voice. You don't have to be you. You can say my character does this, my character does that. But this kind of lends immediately to a GM to determine what they think is good role play. And if it's not how your style, again, like you said, you're never going to get this. So like you said, I think it's just like, I think if you want something like this, because this is another one of those times where I'm like, I get where you're going. Yeah. But you didn't quite get there. I think it's, it could just be like you said, like if you have like a fun, cool moment or like you make the table, if you want this to be on there at all, which I don't think you necessarily need, I think that's more the direction it should go as opposed to like zeroing it in specifically on this like out of game thing.
And I think I had less of an issue with this, but if you look at everything else, like finish a difficult battle, everyone gets an experience point, right? But what if you finish a difficult battle and 2 people had really great role playing in that battle, so they just get 2 experience points, and then your third dude is like, well, you weren't that interesting of a role player, so fuck you, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is it feels like a built-in, to me, it just feels like the opportunity to be a built-in punishment exceeds the ability for it to be a reward, because of the differences. And I think Torchbearer does something like this, and it's not fun. So again, like I just I find it unnecessary, not bad, because I understand why, because all like throughout the game they say this a bunch, like role play, do the thing. That's why you have like background skills and stuff, and like supposed to get out there. But I just find this to be unnecessary.
Yeah.
Next, we get into skills. Skill is something that anyone can do, but you can do better because of your past, is basically what it is. They're vague. They can sometimes overlap. The point of skills is to bring creativity to the table in order to help roles. When a player thinks a skill might apply to a role, they should be creative and present their case to the GM. Even though figuring out which attribute is covered by the skill can be a gray area, they should still be related to the character background, blah, blah, blah. Pick up or make a character skill at character creation, then again, anytime an attribute reaches 7. So this is a personal thing for you. It can be anything you want. It could be fucking pie making. You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything you want. I don't mind this. I think it's fine.
No, I like for like background skill stuff, I really do prefer where it's just like like pick a background. You know, like I'm a big guy, like I love a thief guy sometimes where I'm like, oh yeah, I went to a thief school. You know, so it's like, okay, well, cool. Anytime you can reference, yeah, we learned climbing at my thief school. We learned falling at my thief school. You know, I like stuff like that when you can kind of obscure it and just like you and the GM can decide like, hey, does this really apply to that situation? I like that. So
yeah,
good.
No worries.
I was gonna say the picking up another one at attribute 7. I'm like, okay, that's a thing. You know?
Yeah. There's a whole. I think it's a later part. Talking not in the leveling up section where it probably should be, but when like talking about like when you get to level 7 and stuff like that. Later, you get a bunch of stuff. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, side note here, it is highly recommended to use skills as often as possible. So again, this is probably not the last time I'll bring it up. This is the 3rd page now with the entire left column being completely blank. There's one sentence that could easily just fit anywhere else on here. It's just this is why I'm like, what is, like, if it had a point, I get it.
Right.
It just feels like it
doesn't. If there were more meaningful margin notes, it would bother you less, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. If it had, like, to me, the point of this layout is to have this column in order to mark meaningful things into it.
Right.
And then they didn't utilize it, like, pretty much at all. So that's why the layout. I don't mind. I like this layout. I think that this layout, the style is great. But if you look at something, I'm not going to give examples. It's escaping me. Where it is used more effectively, like these columns, like die, for example, has like a similar kind of vibe, right. Not a third, but like those things are packed on the side with like information that is nice to have, but doesn't necessarily need to be in the core text, you know? So how to use skills. If it relates to your character's skills, mention it when rolling, be creative. So it says, for example, they might be adept at lockpicking, because they had a shady past as a jewel thief. So mention that. And then how skills affect rolls. If the GM agrees, so you can use the skill, you get +1 D to the roll. So on page 1, it tells you go check the test on page 28, but we still don't even, like, at no point, unless you went to page 28, do we know that it's a dice pool game. That is something even though it does say go to page 28, I wouldn't have minded, like, what is this, like a thing at the beginning that says this is a D6 dice pool game, you know?
Yeah, especially because I love a D6 dice pool game. So
yeah, it's great. Yeah. So you add 1D to the roll. If the player critical failure or critical success, they get to ignore the negative impact of those rolls, such as a penalty, but still gain the positive impact, such as XP and luck. More on that on page 7, which was the last page. So basically, like, if you're using your skills, you negate critical failure results. Fine. They want you to use your skills.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You're skilled at this. You like, even if you don't necessarily pass this, you're definitely not going to like run yourself into the ground because you kind of know what you're doing. Yeah, I think from a narrative point of view, you're like, that totally makes sense.
I agree. The next page, it says, here are some possible skills and their associated attributes. I like this page. I think this page is extraordinarily necessary, or I would not have liked the previous page. But it is 3 columns in that font that I'm not a huge fan of.
It's okay. That font doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. it's just so much different than like the rest of the body font. You know what I mean? Like look at it in comparison. Like even the size, like it's just but so mind, body, spirit, there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 different ones for each, for mind, for body, and spirit. And they're color coded: blue, red, and green. It's a fine looking table. It's a fine table. There's a blue note bar on the bottom. It says player and GM are encouraged to add to the list. The GM has a final say in how it works. More kind of like editing things. This is nitpicky, but there's no space after this period.
There's not.
Oh yeah. So this suggestions regarding which attribute relates to which skill are just that, suggestions. Skills will sometimes fall under more than one attribute, so don't take the list too strictly. Blah 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 blah. This isn't one of those ones where it's like I know we get it. Like it's like beating your head over this like do what you want kind of thing. Didn't feel necessary. So now then we get to perks, which is what happens at different levels when you get your attributes up.
Right.
So again, this is another just unnecessary keyword, and I don't understand why this whole section wasn't just in like the leveling up. Like it should have been like the next page after leveling up.
I agree.
Yeah, which should have been called attribute increase.
Yeah.
My note said yet another keyword in a quote unquote low crunch game. Perks are automatic bonuses a character gets at attributes level 3 and 7. So for mind, body, and spirit, whenever you get those attributes up to 3 and then 7, you get bonuses. When mind reaches 3, your mana increases by 2. So your mana is now mind plus 3 instead of mind plus 1.
Cool.
Keep a note of that. Basically, you just get 2 free mana points at level 3.
Cool.
When body reaches 3, you improve your melee attack damage by plus 1. It's not added to, it's just melee. No magic, no nothing. It may seem unfair at first glance, but remember that ranged weapons and magic can hit from a distance. I don't mind that note here, but this is what I'm talking about. You know where that note would have been much better?
Yeah.
In the left side column, because it's not important to the text whatsoever, but it's direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That could easily be just off to the side because you don't need it. When spirit reaches level 3, luck is increased by 2. So now your luck is now spirit plus 3 instead of spirit plus 1. Okay. So basically, body gets plus 1 extra damage at level 3, and your mana and spirit get plus 2 on top of the one that they got already for total of 3. And at level 7 perks, the level 7 perks are all the same. When mind, body, or spirit reaches level 7, characters gain a new skill. If a character survives long enough to get all attributes to level 7, they will have 4 skills. This first line, the level 7 perks are all the same. It's just just delete it. Just delete it. That's it. Abilities. Okay. So we're getting into abilities. Abilities are a character's bread and butter. They are the special things the characters can do, as well as the best way to build your character. Each of the 3 attributes has its own set of abilities. Here we go. So you get active and passive abilities. Yeah. Yeah. So active and passives. So there's also a note here on the side. There are also miscellaneous abilities and ultimate abilities that are explained later. Everything I've said already, that is my note there. So active abilities supposedly require a successful test. On a failed test, there's no cost is paid. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, requires the use of 1 action. Okay. And 3, have a cost required to them ranging from 0 to 4 that is paid with mana or luck, depending on the ability. Okay. All right. Mana or luck. All right. And then you have passive abilities. There's 4 things. Automatically succeed without a test, unless stated otherwise. Do not require an action to use, have no cost, and will have a P after the ability name. abilities are written in a way to communicate all of this information at a glance. And then there's like an algebraic type equation with brackets and all this. Bold this, please. Make this bold and bigger. Ability name, and then cost from 0 to 4 if active or passive, and then the effect of the ability. It's listed out here. And there's an optional rule listed here. Some GMs may allow an ability swap. Sometimes a mission ahead could benefit from trading out old and new. Fine, whatever. Okay. Great piece of art here. It's blue. Yeah, it's blue, so we're going into mind stuff. But it's a full page wizard boy with like an energy thing in its hand, and he's like coming down to slam it. It's great. It's a great piece of art.
Great piece. Yeah, it is an amazing piece. I do love this piece a lot.
Okay, so mind abilities. So there's 16 of them. Okay.
And we're going to read every single one, y'all. Gear up.
Every single one. If a mind ability has a listed cost, it uses mana. Okay. So let's just talk about a couple. So mana costs. Do me a solid, Hunter.
Okay.
All right. There are 16 of these. How many different mana costs are there on 16 abilities?
2.
There's 2 mana costs, right? What are the mana costs?
It's 1 and X.
Okay. So X is fireball, right? Before rolling, the caster picks the amount of mana they want to spend, then throws an explosive fireball. We'll get to the rest of the wording in just a second. Yeah. So if you spend 5 mana, you get like what? With X damage. So you get X damage. So it's Magic the Gathering Fireball. X damage, right? So if you spend 5, they get 5 damage, right? Everything else is 1. Everything
is 1.
15 abilities is 1. So why list the cost at all?
My other thing is, like, I think up there it says the cost range from 0 to 4. Where's the 4? Is it in the 2? It might be in Spirit, maybe.
No, bro, we talked about this. We'll get there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's saying that for the X, the highest it could be is 4 with that.
That's not, I mean, you're being very generous because that's not what it says. It says the ability cost.
Sorry, maybe that's what I was trying to say. Ranging
from 0 to 4. And every single ability cost is 1.
Is that a mistake?
It has to be. It fucking has to be.
It has to be a mistake, right? We talked about this.
Yeah, and because
it's been percolating in my mind. I'm like, there's no way this is right. You know?
No, it can't. What's the point of having ability cost saying they range from 0 to 4 and making every single one of them 1?
Yeah, resurrect costs 1. So you can bring it back to 1, and also barrier costs 1.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
control
everything.
Light. Yeah, creating a 30-foot diameter of light is the same as resurrecting a player. It's the same cost. It has to be a mistake. It literally says it ranges from 0 to 4 and then lists everyone at 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, barrier, control light, and begin. It's mind magic. That's what you get. So, but here's the other issue. We'll get through this. Bend the elements. Caster creates a malleable shape of up to level times 10 square feet of volume.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We haven't gotten to ranges yet, have we? So
yeah, no. Should we jump to range real quick to explain this, or wait till later and come back to this? Because one or the other, we have to do both.
I say we just keep going through in a linear nature. But everyone who's listening, if you are listening, remember that it says 30 feet in here, and it gives, like, I think 10 feet as well as a form of distance.
Level times 10 square feet. The effect of the globe goes for 30 feet. In Biggin, the target gets 1d3 body for level rounds and grows exactly 20% larger. Fireball, anyone within 15 feet. Let's just do range now because it doesn't really matter.
Okay, let's just do range now.
Yeah. So we're gonna go down to range. It's somewhere down here. I don't remember where it is. Was it above using an ability? Above attack?
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's in combat section. Yeah.
It's on page 37. Okay. So for distances, it's just move, right? This is your movement in combat. Okay. So short distance is within melee range. Okay, so they're short, medium, long, and very long. Okay, short distance is within melee range. Hunter, what is medium distance?
It's one move action.
One move away. What's long?
It's 2 moves away.
How about very long?
It's more than 2 moves away.
How long is a move?
It's medium distance.
And how long is medium distance?
It's 1 move away.
I think, like,
this is where you really benefit from like medium range. That's the across an average size room. You know,
yes, anything. So it says, there is this little blurb on the bottom. It says, these distances are meant to answer simple questions. Am I close enough to stab? For example, if something is long range, taking a move action to move towards it puts it into medium range. We get it. It's range bands emanating from you. Totally makes sense. Like, I love range bands. I'm a fucking range band guy. I hate feet, right? But here's the thing. This is how all of it works in the game. It says TLD RPG defines distances as ranges, right?
Well, except when it doesn't.
Yeah, ranged weapons and ranged magic attacks may be used at ranges that the GM deems reasonable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it literally says, quote, distances as ranges. So we're going to hop on back to...
7, or not 17, sorry, like 12 or something. I scrolled down.
Abilities. It is well hyperlinked. So
it is incredibly well hyperlinked.
Yeah, so 10 feet. What is that? 30 feet. What is that? We don't need to beat over a dead horse. There's an incongruousness between the use of feet multiple times throughout this book and then the use of ranges later in the book. This is what we were talking about again, where there's like this inelegance of like, we see the vision, but it didn't quite get there, because I think both were on the mind and they just like forgot to get rid of one. Most likely they went with feet because it's very classic BX, you know, whatever. It's D&D. And then they're like, let's simplify it with going with ranges, and then never just switch these all to ranges.
Yeah.
So that's what it's got to be. Anyway, so that's that. Another great piece of art.
Another
wizard.
Great piece of art.
Mm-hmm. And then another great piece of art.
Yeah.
And this one's red. Yeah. This is it's like a demonic knight with like a mace and this badass like skulls hanging off the bottom of this like long, I don't know what it is, bladed weird axe thing. It's gorgeous. It's a great piece of art. Body abilities. Okay, we're going to start cruising through some of this stuff. So the body abilities all list either P or 0 after them. There are probably 16. So P is passive, 0 is active, but it even says in the thing that that it's only spent on mind and spirit. It never says anything about body. So why is it a cost listed at all?
Right.
And how are they used? Like, I get to do these every time?
Yeah, I guess it's like, so yeah, you could do shield bash every turn. Like,
yeah,
if you wanted to. I mean, it costs nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, it cost, so all of the melee stuff just like costs nothing. I mean, dual wield. So the thing is, like, it's active because you have to roll, but the ability itself is not. It should be passive, but whatever. So basically, yeah, it's all so backstab, battle cry, bloodlust, dual wield, like gash. You attack a target to do 1 damage and cause bleed. We'll get to bleed. But like, I just don't understand. Like, I think if they don't cost anything, there needs to be an explanation of like how you can use it then, and also don't list a cost of 0 because it's just confusing people. Unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like there's a werewolf piece, great piece.
And then the spirit piece, which is such a strong art piece.
Oh, one of my favorite in the entire game.
Weird double daggered guy with his like mask that has like blood spatter on it, his hood up, very much like a very cool assassin rogue dude, you know?
Mm-hmm. And the glow on the daggers is awesome.
Yeah, the glow on daggers, yeah.
All right, so tell me about spirit abilities.
They all cost 1, except the ones that are passive.
I mean, and they use luck. So like,
yeah, so luck. So luck. So mana comes back when you rest. Okay.
Mm-hmm. As does HP.
But luck, you have to either crit fail or is it crit succeed? Was it one of those two? Well, I gotta go back. I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so inherently it is incredibly hard to get luck back. Or maybe not incredibly, but it's much, much harder to get luck back.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey man, listen, if you're building a spirit-based character, good fucking luck.
And that's but again, so one thing you said, every one of these abilities that isn't a P or passive is just again listed as just one. But why make luck something that only comes back sometimes, like versus everything
I
else? It
don't
makes no
know.
sense. Like there's no rationale I can think of, because it's not like, here's the thing is like it would make more sense for mana to be something that like is harder to get back because it's like magic and shit, and not everyone has to be magic or something. But like even having luck as like the derived thing from spirit, to me, is just weird, because first of all, spirit is your dexterity and finesse, and then you add luck to it. I can see agility and luck and stuff like that, but like why would it not come back? Because like you're saying, like if I want to make a thief character that uses a bunch of these like thiefy finesse, if you want to build a finesse build, you're fucked. You can't use any of these abilities.
Yeah, I mean, if you do use them, you're going to lose a point, and it's going to take you a while to get it back because you have to either crit fail or crit succeed.
Yeah, you're just
Which I
hamstrung.
guess I'm the dice mechanic for this crit failing is rolling. It's rolling doubles, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of, but there's like targeted dice in it too. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
whole.
maybe I did not do the math for this one. I'm sorry, everyone listening. But maybe it's more statistically significant for to crit fail or crit succeed in this system than it is in like a D20 based system. Um,
I think it's. We'll get there. They actually have the math in here, which is nice.
they do have some math in here. They have a little table of math, and I'm like, yeah, good for you. Put that shit in here. I love that.
Yeah, it's nice. But what I'm saying is like, but there, even then, there's no rationale to punish all agility based players and have their derived stat be the only thing that doesn't come back. Because again, luck isn't, in a lot of games, luck is like a reroll or something. Luck is just the derived stat that you use to spend spirit abilities. Like there's nothing that like makes it special compared to the other ones at all. So it makes no sense. But like blessing, bullseye, etc., like, you know, second chance, it's your sneaky guy. Like yeah, there's a couple mice, there's a cool skull boy. Then we get some miscellaneous abilities. I mean, okay. You can put into an ability slot regardless of attribute. Okay, so some are similar. So you get Blood Pact, Coward, Hearthmaker, Holy Might, and Hustler. Oh, there's more. There's 10. Most of them are 0 or P, and one cost 1, which is lowering or raising a dice ability. It's these random miscellaneous things like Coward. Once per round, the character may attack a fleeing foe within range, but they have to yell Coward. Like it's just random ones that don't fit anywhere, that are like maybe slightly more powerful. And that's your miscellaneous abilities. And that doesn't even count your ultimate abilities.
Yeah.
Born Winner, Concentrate, Gambling, or Gambler's Luck. So there's only 3 of them. If the character has an ability granting +1d and they decide not to use it, they gain 1 luck and 1 XP if they succeed. Again, they make luck and XP. I feel like they wanted luck to be something that it just isn't. In this, it's just a derived spirit abilities. Right. But in other games, I get why you would get XP and luck. You get another reroll back or something like that. It feels like. And anyway, ultimate attributes may only be put into level 7 slots or attributes or whatever. That's it. Okay, 28 pages in. Now we learn how to play the game. Yeah. So that was a lot in the character section. The rest of it isn't nearly as much, so we'll cruise that. So it's a dice pool system. When performing a test, you get a number of d6s equal to the character's relevant ability. So if you are doing a mind test and you have a mind of 3, level 3, you get 3 die, plus whatever you get. If they get at least 1 6, they succeed. Usually only 1 6 is needed. In the rare case, the GM may decide that you need 2. So dice pool, you have to have at least 1 6 for a success. That's the game. If multiple things are altering the number of dice in the dice pool, the effects are cumulative. Good place for that on the side. Actually, that's appropriate use for that. A large pool of dice gives you a better chance, obviously. You also have your abilities, skills, and other players helping you, adding to a dice pool. It's a dice pool. Right. The most important rule, just have fun. If something works at your table but isn't 100% by the book, that's fine. 2 issues with it. If it's the most important rule, why is it on page 29? And second, like this is like the 4th time you said like just make it your own. Like we get it. Yeah. That's what indie games are. Like we get it. Like but then on top of the core mechanic, you have the dice bump, right? It's a very lethal game, particularly in the beginning. It's recommended that players use every means at their disposal to add extra dice. So to do a dice bump, simply spend 1 mana or 1 luck to gain an extra dice on a test. And then there's rules for that. Like you have to say it before the roll. You can only bump your own character. You can spend as much as you want on mana or luck. And it does not take a special ability to use it. Great. Players always roll at least 1 die during a test, even if the character's attribute is 0 or some other rule effect would require the dice to use that. I don't understand why this is the blue box way down here and this isn't attached to the actual definition of what the test is. Because it's literally part of the test.
Everyone start out with at least 1 in each attribute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always have that. But if for whatever reason it's 0, but what I'm saying is like that's a core part of the dice mechanic, and we're like 2 pages away from like the test. Put that back up there. And again, why are we having? What is the point of the blue bar on the side here when you have a third of a column on the left that's completely empty? You know what I'm saying?
I too.
Players almost always roll for tests, except when they don't, and it doesn't make sense. As a core mechanic, it's basically it's player-facing rules. For example, an NPC might have an ability that grants. So this is interesting. NPC might have an ability that grants +1d to its attacks. Since the defending PC is the one rolling to determine the outcome, they roll 1 less die to reflect the NPC ability. So the bad guy will have +1d. You actually just do -1d to defend.
Yeah, I would not put it as +1d. Then I'd probably put it as like the bad guy has -1d and you take away 1 die when you roll.
Exactly.
Because plus is plus and minus is minus. And while I totally understand what it's saying, there's already several moving parts in here, and I wouldn't like. There's that I sent you that 10 rules for writing games, you know. And one of them is like call a thing, you know, call it what it is, you know.
That's what I'm saying with the attribute levels. Like the attribute thing, it's just you're increasing attribute, just call attribute increase. There's no reason to have levels.
Mike Slinker's 10 rules for writing, 10 rules for writing rules. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like why would it say like +1d to their attack? It should just say this attack subtract 1d from your defense. Like there's no reason to have it be like a thing that you have to remember to be a thing. So, yeah, it's counterintuitive is what I wrote. So a word about failure. Yeah. While it's true, at least 1/6 is needed for an action to succeed. There is some area for GM discretion. For example, if a character is jumping over a deep chasm, a failed roll doesn't necessarily mean they fall to their death. Maybe they make the jump, but twist their ankle. Okay, so like make success, but not in the mechanics. You're supposed to narratively decide it. Come on. Like if that's what you want, then just say like on a 5, you kind of
on a 5. I totally that was immediately what I thought when I read this. Was like give them a 5 option. 5 is a mixed success. Oh, the highest roll is a 5. Cool. Then success with a little bit of
Yeah. You shouldn't have like this is a little note, but like just put it in your game then. Like if that's what you want to happen, then just make it happen. You have a lot of room on this page. No need to roll. There's dice math here, which is really nice. It's the number of dice listed and the percentage to hit a 6. So if you roll 1 die, you only have a 16.7% chance. If you roll 8 die, you have a 76.7% chance. I like this. Great table. Love that it's in here. Should be
great table. I love adding like, you know, D20 based games, like people play a lot of. Obviously 5e is D20 based. It's very easy to do the math. When you have dice pool games, it's a lot harder for people to contextualize what the math looks like. Obviously, I've sent you a bunch of math that I've done for my own dice pool thing, but it's really nice to put this in for like, hey, like this is what this actually looks like, just so you know, because people don't know.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like it's the number of times that we literally like sit here and
do the math.
Do the math. It's nice that it's right there, and we love D6s.
I do. I love a D6 dice pool. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoy dice pools. Like, just the 2d6 is my favorite, but dice pools or d6 dice pools are very close after that.
I really do like the core of this. Like, I really enjoy like the system and how it works, and I like the idea of the like abilities. And I like the attributes. I do think like this absolutely would benefit from a 2E because I do think there's so much good in the bones of this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we said at the beginning is just like there's so much just kind of clunkiness throughout where it's like, I
Yeah.
get where you're going. You just didn't like, it's not like,
And I think a lot of the complaints we've had so far, like a second pass on editing, frankly, would have fixed a lot of, you know?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think that a lot of it too is it almost feels like a game was written and then there was a pass over it to like add the like quote unquote new school mechanics with the old school feel, and they just missed a bunch of like the stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's simplify the ranges on page 37 or whatever, because they hit range was like, oh, let's change that, but then didn't go back and fix all the things that also applied to it. So it's yeah. Crit success and failure.
This is how crit success works. I do remember now. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and I just don't.
Yeah.
I wrote a note that says, I do not know how I feel about this, but at first read, it feels superfluous. So a character's attribute level determines the number of total dice rolled for tests. We got that. When an attribute reaches level 2, the possibility of crit successes and failures is introduced. So 2 of the dice that you roll are now your crit dice. So if you just have 2, so they should be different colored. And then when a player rolls crit dice along with the rest of their character's dice, so they make sure they're blah, blah, blah. For example, a character with a level of 4 will roll 4 dice total, 2 being crit dice, 2 being not. A 6 on a crit die is the same as any other 6, unless the roll is one of the 3 critical results below. Except it's not below because you look at a book. The crit die overrides the rest of the dice. Okay, so then we go down here, and it says the crit results, double 1s, double 6s, or both a 1 and a 6 on the crit die. So double 1, snake eyes, it says it's a 2.8% chance. I love they put the math in here. Double 6 is a 2.8% chance, and both a 1 and a 6 is a 5.6% chance. So didn't we say that like getting luck back was like on one of these?
Yes.
So a 2.8% chance is how you're going to get your stuff back?
Well, it's on any, and I think it's crit success or crit failure, right?
It's still 2.8% for either
So
one at any time.
You have like an 11.2% chance. That's not really probably very accurate, but somewhere in there of getting luck back.
But my question with this math is,
so wait, if I use my spirit like my like luck points on abilities when before I'm level 2, I just can't get them back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah,
It just,
there's a little logical hole there.
Yeah. Again, this game I feel like wants luck to be like a DCC luck or something, and didn't realize that they just made it the derived stat that only like is an entire player's core. It even says about like the ability is like define your whole player, but like you gave one whole of your 3 attributes like a massive penalty right off the bat to just not get those abilities back like everyone else does for no specific reason. Again, if it was magic and that like magic was more difficult, so everyone didn't have it all the time, that would make sense. But just your speedy boyness,
yeah, how quick you are, yeah,
makes no sense. So anyway, the test fails.
I mean, I would consider running this, but if I did, it'd come back on your rest, you know.
Yeah, it would have to. Yeah. So it's failures and successes and difficult. So character gets a penalty, but they also earn 1 XP and 1 luck. Penalties defined by the GM. Critical success, it succeeds and you get a bonus. The bonus defined by the GM. If you get a 1 and a 6, the test is successful, but the character also incurs a penalty, as with a critical failure. So basically you get both. So on a failure, you get XP and luck. On a success, you get a bonus. And on a difficult, you get penalties, but you also get like XP and luck or a bonus.
Oh, so you don't get luck from the critical success. You only get it from failure or difficult success.
Yeah.
Which makes it even less likely to happen.
Yeah. Yep. Combat, surprise. This is the whole big page to say it exists. You get a +1D. I do like the art. The Skelly Boy with the glowing eyes is dope.
Skelly Boy art is good.
Yeah. It talks about on surprise action, the character gets advantage on their roll plus 1d. Using the word advantage in there does not mean advantage, but advantage is so part of RPGs, I wouldn't use that word there. Initiative. This is a whole page to say there's 2 ways you can do it. 1d6 plus spirit, right? Just like normal initiative, or optional rule for fast or simple initiative. The GM may decide to do 1 initiative roll for a group of PCs and 1 for NPCs.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a whole page to tell you how to work initiative. Combat turns. Characters. So during a turn, characters get 2 actions: move, attack, use an ability, focus, or parry. Characters may do the same action twice, such as taking moves or doing 2 attack actions. There's a thing that says this is just the most common stuff. Other things happen. Enemies get the same shit. We've already talked about the move page. A move is defined by itself. A medium distance is 1 move, and a move is at least a medium distance. No idea what that means. We can assume, but that needs to be fixed. Attacking. Use mind, body, or spirit to do attacks. Magic, melee, or ranged. And then to me, I think this second paragraph where it talks about doing like defense rolls really needs to have like a header, like a red header, just like everything else. So when rolling to defend against an attack, a character's response determines the relevant attribute. So basically, like if you want to block with your shield, use body. If you want to dodge out of the way, use spirit. Basically what it says. And then again, it says, remember that players make almost all tests. Like it's a player facing game. And it lists everything else you can do. You can use an ability. You can focus, which just gives your next action 1d. You can parry, which gives all defense tests plus 1d. I do like that you get 2 actions, and some of those actions can set up like your next turn. So if you want to say, all right, I attack once and then I parry, you can put yourself in like a more defensive position.
Yeah.
Or like I want to focus on my next one because I'm too far, so I'll do a move action and then focus, and the next time I can do it. I do like that. I think that's great.
I agree. Good. I concur.
Death. When you read 0, you die, or you don't. Those are the 2 rules. Resting. I don't like it. I love the art on this page. This like warlock looking over like a cauldron.
I was thinking more of like, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like a shaman almost. Yeah. Resting. Each hour of rest fills 1 mana and 1 HP. Resting for at least 6 hours fills all mana. The resting does not fill luck. Luck is earned from critical fails and difficult success rolls, or as an award from the GM.
Oh, you can award luck? Does it say that earlier? Did I miss that?
Yeah, it says it in...
oh, it does say that. Yeah, as an award from the GM. Oh, okay. Interesting. I still don't love it, but...
No, I don't like it at all. I also want to go back just to make sure that I'm not talking about my ass. Like, when we derive luck, spirit plus 1 is luck. Luck is spent to use spirit abilities. Yeah, there's...
Well, until you get to level 3, and then it's spirit plus 3.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, so resting, every hour you rest, you get 1 mana and 1 HP. For a minimum of 6 hours. To me, I don't know how you feel about that. I don't... There's a lot of stuff missing from this. How many rests can you do in a day? If it's as many as you want, then yeah, then I would just do like a 1 to 2 hour nap like every fucking all the time and just have my shit back all the time. And if not, and there's a limited number of rests, why would it matter if you get 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Like what you would like, to me, that's bookkeeping that a GM doesn't need to worry about. You took a rest, boom, you get your shit back. You know?
Yeah.
It's just unnecessary. Great piece. I love this castle piece here with like the stuff glowing, the person in the back.
Mm-hmm. It is there's some really cool, like darker, almost like charcoaly pieces in this. You're like, very iconic art going through this.
Yeah, it's definitely dope. Status effects. There's a bunch. Bleed, burn, daze, plague, poison, stun. They cause things. They cause statuses. The one I don't understand is bleed. Unlike other statuses, this status does nothing on its own. Instead, some other abilities may activate when an opponent is bleeding. At the beginning of a turn, decrease bleed status by 1. The status is removed at 0. I really couldn't. Maybe it's listed somewhere and I was just like frustrated and couldn't find it. But like, I don't know what it actually does when it is activated though.
Oh, I saw this in the ability actually. I'm gonna find it real quick.
Yeah, gash. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh, nice.
gash.
Yeah, but it just says that you bleed.
Where is it? Does it? I might be going in the wrong direction.
I mean, you can just control F bleed too.
I am. That's exactly what I did.
That's what I'm saying. So I just don't understand how bleed works.
Well, they have it on the blood pact ability. Each NPC that dies, well, they have the bleed status heals this character for 1 HP. There's
This is
that.
one of those things where like it's defining what it does by itself with no explanation.
There's one that's like if your melee attack hits a target with bleed status, you gain 1 HP. So it's almost like, and then you do 1 damage and cause bleed. Yeah, it almost like it doesn't exist on its own. It only exists when in concert with something else.
Which is what it says. It says like unlike other statuses, the status does nothing on its own. Instead, some other abilities may activate it.
But there's not a ton. There's 2 abilities that activate it. So
yeah, an example here, or like a page number to one of those, or something would have been nice. Because like,
right,
I don't mind this. Like, I think it's kind of neat that like the ability only matters when something triggers it. But it like it's we shouldn't need to control F to like try to figure out how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, whole yellow page here with a dope fucking zombie on it, because zombie is an effect. Make a body test when the status is applied. On a failure, the character has 1d6 plus body days to be blessed, or they become a zombie. I like it.
Me too.
No. Automatic statuses. So delirium, fear, feeble. There's 3 automatic. So for example, like fear, when active, the target must roll 1d6 at the beginning of their turn, etc., etc. On the side here, it says the effects listed previously are typically imparted by an ability. The statuses listed here are a bit different. They happen automatically when the relevant stat drops below 0. Have we looked at anything where a stat can decrease? Like below 0? Like you can spend all of your shit, but like at what point?
But it's not like spent. You use your abilities, right? Like they don't go down when you use them.
Well, so this is the stats, not the not the attributes. Right. But like there's nothing that reduces it except spending it, and you can't spend when you have 0, so I don't understand why it would drop below 0. Maybe we're missing something where something could potentially.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of writing for like a maybe. I just don't get it. Like when I read the rules, I never understood a point where you could reduce the stat below 0. If there is one, it just needs to be better explained.
Below 0. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too many keywords too, also.
Yeah. But it's fine. I mean, we'll cruise. This is another one of my favorite pages. This is one right before the weapons page. This is page 45. It's this full page, kind of like Reaper guy with just like the bottom bloody jaw. Really gorgeous with like I love that bluish purple in the background too.
I like the yellow highlight. Like there's some like torch off on the side.
So good. I mean, that's the thing. Billy Blue's art is fantastic. Weapon categories. I really like this. Unarmed, light, medium, heavy. That's it. And then you just pick what it is. Who cares? I love that. It's my favorite way to do weapons.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, perfect. Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Damage is consistent throughout. That's it. Another great piece. This like just weird, tall, skinny man with a giant axe on a red background. It's stunning. They're listed here. So unarmed is weight damage. So weight is 0, damage is 1, and you get +1 dice when you use it. Light weapons, weight is 1, damage is 2, +1 dice. There might be a couple other things. I do like the part about wizard stuff, having potentially like wands and staffs, light and medium. Love that. Medium weapons, weight 2, damage 3. Heavy, weight 4, damage 5. And with heavy, you only get 1 attack per turn. I do like that. It basically says, like, it's such a big thing that normally, like, you have the ability to do 2 actions, but you have to, like, spend so much of your time, like, swinging this thing around or whatever that it takes it both. I like that, because you're also doing fucking 5 damage per turn. And you don't get any pluses to your rolls. You only get those on your unarmed and light. So I dig that. And the dual wield is only on light. Okay, armor and shields. There's the thing on the side. I wrote a note. What does my note say? Just no. I wrote just no. So let me read what it says. When you see armor with a lowercase a, that is referring to the actual piece of armor. When you see armor with an uppercase a, that is referring to the armor stat, which is how many times a piece of armor or a shield can block damage. That's why I wrote just no. Come on.
Screams internally. Yeah, so it's like armor, but also it's armor. We're referring to just use 2 different fucking words.
Or if it's a stat, quote unquote, like AP, armor points.
I would say, use a stat, like, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, like weapons, armors, and shields are things. When selecting an armor category, light, medium, heavy, it defines the things, right? So, likewise, shields are the same. All armor and shields have a rating. They absorb. So this is not. When taking damage, characters may reduce armor by 1 to fully ignore a single source of damage, such as a trap or an attack or a spell. This is kind of like Mothership, where you don't take any damage, but once your armor is broken, you take all the damage. And I don't mind this. I think that's really cool. It's interesting that you're not going to take any damage, so your armor's gone. And then you'll take a ton, so you're going to, like, be up, and then die real fast. And then
really be down.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. If the source of damage would impart a special status, you can, basically it says you can decide if you want it or not. Like, if you're going to get poisoned from, like, a claw, armor might block it, but if you're going to get poisoned from a gas, armor might not. Do what you want. That's fine. Armor and shield categories. It's weird that this is a table-ish. That's kind of different because it's not anywhere else, but light armor, weight 1, armor 2, medium, weight 2, armor 3, heavy, weight 3, armor 4. Small shield, weight 1, armor 1, large shield, weight 2, armor 3. I like it. It's simple. That's fine. There's a long example of play, which is fine, except that there are many times where, like, there's a lot of stuff that I would have loved to see in a example of play that aren't in this example of play. Nothing really happens in this. You cast a spell. I think when the actual combat starts, the example ends. So there's no critical success. There's no getting luck back. There's no, like, it's almost all narrative till the end. I will say there's a section here that doesn't make sense to me. Abby rolls 5d6. She needs 1 success. She gets 2. But, like, my spirit rolls 4. I roll 3 die. Long story short, the math doesn't math. Like, I think they only have 4, but it says 5. So that's something that they might need to fix in editing. I'm not going to read it again to get to there. Huh. But I mean, it's like a very long example of play to not. Oh, wait a minute. Is this example play longer than the paperback one? And I just skipped it. No, it does say something about a critical success. Not only does she get a hit, you do double damage and then roll initiative, then the combat starts. Yeah. So bestiary. Beasts, they happen. They have ranks, they have attributes. I wrote notes. The note says scroll through the enemy slime, and we'll get to that. In general, monsters' rank is a clue to how big of a threat they are. So if you want a more challenging adversary, look further down the list. It's the GM's responsibility to scale enemies appropriately to the needs of the table. My note was not very OSR. But then it says, however, not every fight is winnable, blah, blah, blah. I put the word suggestions, and my note says, too many suggestions. People will change what they want to change, and if they require your permission, then you need to only say it once. At this point, it feels like hedging and a lack of conviction. Damn, I was on a lot of coffee. That's my bad. So basically, there's a table here, and I like it. Bad guys are ranked 0 to 4, and then they have ranges for mind, body, and spirit. 0 is fodder, rank 1 is typical, rank 2 is tough, rank 3 is challenging, rank 4 is big bad. I love this. In a system that I'm working on, I do very similar things. That's one thing I liked about TLD. There's things in it that are exactly what I would do because I'm literally playtesting those things. Mm-hmm. This is one of them. I really like that you can just be like, I have a rank 3 baddie, here what all the stats could derive to be. The only thing is, like, they're all exactly the same. Like there's no mix up, you
Yeah,
know?
you could just actually just put like
one.
ability. Yeah, one column or two columns, like his rank and their abilities.
Yeah. If it's not going to be different, you don't need 4 columns to say all the same stuff. And then we get to the bestiary, which suddenly switches to a completely different font. It has multiple fonts or typefaces in the same thing. And then the typeface used in like the body of this, it does not feel like a very pretty body text, and I don't like it even more than I didn't like the other one. Like, am I wrong? Like, what? Like this bottom?
Oh no,
font?
actually, this font I do not like. This one I do. I know this display was like, nah, I don't really like this font. So
yeah, it's
but
awful.
I will say, a really sick art piece is coming up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my note says I hate the layout. So, yeah, I just don't like this typeface. Oh, this is that Michael Harmon Gobos art.
Yeah, fucking cool.
Yep. I really like this. The adventure in the back of the book talks about gobos and stuff like that. So they're really cool. They're basically, badass goblins and shit. Bite, kick, slash, everything. So the notes that I was referencing are like slime, right? So multiple times it says that it's player facing rolls, players roll defense tests. So I don't understand. There's a bunch that have this like dodge ability. It says +1d on defense tests. So the slime is dodging. The slime doesn't make defense tests.
No, it's -1d on the whoever's defending against it.
So that's what you think this means?
Absolutely. Because we established earlier that if they get a +1d to something, that actually means -1d.
So it specifically said in there attacks.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, it specifically said in there attacks, but like, I don't. So let's run with what you're saying though, just so we can so we can brain it out. Dodge,
right?
+1d on defense tests. I don't see how you could possibly. So you're saying that would mean -1d on attack rolls.
That's what I'm going with.
That would be such a ridiculous. That would be so incompatibly just not good. I don't know anything else I could say about that.
Well, and the problem is that like establishing that like +1 -1 earlier, it now makes it more confusing when trying to parse this out, because you're like, wait, okay, is this the same thing even though it doesn't say attack? Is that earlier when it said attack wrong? What section was that in actually? I'm gonna look.
Dude, I don't even know. But to me, what I think this is what I said before, where it feels like they wrote a game and then they said, let's simplify this mechanic with some new school mechanics, and then just forgot to fix some of it.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is a bad guy that before they decided to do player facing roles, they had good guy rolls and bad guy rolls, and the bad guy would roll with more of a dodge, and they never came back and fixed it to say they have a dodge ability, player gets -1 on attack rolls. And if the fix for that was that one little line that says, where I say +1d for the bad guys, you get -1d for you, I think it would be in the defense section under attack. It would be in the attack section in like the paragraph above the blue box.
Okay, I'm there now. Let's look.
So we're looking. This is where I think
we are looking.
Yeah.
Where is it? Well, it's somewhere.
It's somewhere. If an attack could possibly, for example, when rolling to defend, for example, a magical bolt, remember that players. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. We said it before. But like that's wait. No, that's a -1d to partial cover. For example, when attacking.
Which funny, because there is another example of a -1d in there, which is like it's the partial cover one. So I'm like, okay, so we could have just said -1d this entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, that's parrying. Yeah. So I mean, but even if that was the case, it shouldn't be this difficult to figure it out.
Oh, it should not.
Anyway, so yeah, that's a problem. Is I feel like there's a lot of bad guys that have dodge that it doesn't make any sense to either if the point is that they have a +1 so you get a -1.
I found it.
That's ridiculous. Where is it?
It's under players almost always test. And the example given is that an NPC might have an ability that grants +1d to its attack. So it's not hard, like it's only attack. This is just an example. So that dodge, I maintain that +1d dodge means -1d to defending for the player.
Which is bad. Like,
yeah,
there are words.
It took us that long to parse that out. But
and it's in an example that doesn't even talk about defending. For example, an NPC might have an ability that grants +1d to its attack. Since the defending PC is the one rolling to determine, they roll 1 less dice to reflect. Gosh, I'm trying to be nice. That's bad. It's not good. Don't do that. Fix that. Yeah. Make that go away. There's a lot of bad guys, and a lot of them are really cool. I just got hung up on that, but like imbued slime, slam, dissolved, again dodge, bites. Like, they're really cool. I do like it. I think that the bad guys are simple. Like, they give you HP, rank, armor, what they look like, and then why and how they do their attacks, which I really like, and then 3 quick attacks. I think this is a great way to do a bestiary. It's great. It's a fat bestiary. It's very long, and it's good. So we'll cruise through that, and then we're basically done. In the back, you get character examples, kind of. So you have like Berserker listed. This is not sure what kind of character to play. Here are some fun ideas. So what it gives you is a cool little piece of art. So for the Berserker, it gives you a little line. It says, bloody death is the highest honor. And then it gives you the abilities that they would take to make the Berserker. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. It doesn't give you any of the stats. It doesn't give any of that. It's just like the abilities to kind of give you the vibe, which is fine. That's cool. The Blood Mage, servant of the ancient Spider Queen. It's got like spider eyes and a little like, the fucking, what's it called?
Black Widow kind of symbol.
Yeah, like the time thing, the hourglass. Yeah, and then the abilities. That's cool. Bare hand. Oh, the bare hand brawler. That's you, buddy. Look at you. Bite, kick, smash, repeat. Weapons, who needs them? Spell Slinger, Divine Knight, cool. It's whatever. Weird Monster Maker. There's a cool, very kind of like legally distinct beholder creature here. Then there's a bunch of tables. There is a weird Monster Maker, so you roll twice on the first column. Why don't you just rip this out real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just make one and we'll be done. So it's D66.
Yeah. So on the first column, you got 13.
Roll twice. Okay.
And 31.
Okay. Nice roundness to that.
Armored Freezing.
Okay. And then the next one.
And a 36, which is a lobster, which is perfect. It's an ice lobster. It's got armor because that's a shell, obviously. And then with... I'm rolling a lot of 3s. I'm trying to get out of the 3s. Oh my God, is my roller broken? There we go. 16. A pair of glowing eyes that encircle it.
Yo.
Cool.
That's cool. Yep. I like these. They're great. Yeah. They're great lists. I mean, 3 D66s for this. There's loot table. So there's D6 potions, superior shields. There's a great art piece for like, how the heck do I roll a D66? And it's this weird like fucking demon thing, and it's really neat. I do like that. The D66 loot generator, a lot of really cool loot in here. Cool weapon generator, D6. So the whole back is basically just that character creator. So you can quick make like it's character creator, but this is just like stuff. So like possession, D66 possessions, quirks, personal philosophies. This is ways to like round out your character. Then there's an adventurer, Happy Birthday Goblin King. It's 8 little rooms for like a Gobbo Goblin King kind of situation. Happy birthday to Goblin King Big Ob, which is this guy, which this dude was used in some of the promo art as well. And then that's the adventure, and we don't talk about adventures on the show. And then in the back, you get a terminology page, which it did reference in the beginning. But it literally is just like XP, PC, NPC. It's super basic, which is fine for new players.
Totally fine.
And then there's a character sheet that's nice. It is nice.
It is a nice character sheet.
Yeah. So where it says level 3 perk plus 1 mana, it's +2. Because
it is.
Yeah. So the character sheet in the back of the book is wrong, because you get a total of 3 mana and luck. You get +2 bonus at level 3. So that should be 2 mana. Level 3 perk should be +2 mana, not +1. And then that's it. Big QR code in the back, so you can support more Billy Blue's work. So that's this game. Let's jump to reviews. Boom, we're there.
We're doing a book review. Weird.
It's 100 pages.
I know. It's just like we haven't done one in a while.
I know.
We had so many zines.
You were messaging me like, we should go faster. I'm like, bro, it's not a zine. It's 100 pages. Like, I think we did good.
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
an hour and a half. Yeah. So for God, we haven't done a book review in so fucking long. So for those that don't know, it's 5 attributes, or well, you can derive stats from those if you really want, that are worth up to 10 points each. We give points to shit to give some quantification to our bullshit opinions. Art and layout is the art, and the layout usability is how usable something is. The rule set is if it's adapted to rule set, how well is adapted. If it's new, how do we like it? Do we feel that it is good? Originality is exactly what it sounds like, and value is the bang for your buck when you buy this thing. So art and layout. Thoughts?
The art's great.
Yeah.
I love the art.
I don't think it suffers for art at all. I think Billy Blue's style suffuses everything. Oh, I fucking forgot too. I backed at the tier where Billy drew inside my book.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Wait. I'll go back to a bigger page real quick. So, yeah. Trying to get it. It's cool. It's this like wizard guy.
Gigantic sword planted in the ground with moss growing all over it.
It's really cool. And then on the side, this is thanks for support. Hashtag TLD RPG. Billy Blue Sig there. So yeah, this is cool. This is why it took us a little longer to get around to it too, because I've had the paperback one for a long time, but Billy got these, drew them, and sent them out. So that was really cool. That was nice. It was nice to get that as a tier. That's a cool reward. I really like anytime that creators do that. So art and layout, again, like you said, art's great, doesn't hurt for art. Billy styles through the entire thing. Michael Harmon's a great artist. It's cool to see a piece or two from them in there. Art solid, can't say anything with that. Layout,
yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think your point about the third column makes a lot of sense, and I think there are some typeface changes that you find grating that I notice, and I'm the person that wouldn't notice the things like that. Like I'm that guy. So both guys are in this room, and then we both noticed. So not great. What are you thinking?
I mean, this is one of those weird ones since we're doing art and layout, where the art's great and the layout to me is bad.
Right.
If I went, and it's only bad because it's poorly used. I really like that extra column on the side, but there are a lot of times where what's written in it didn't need to be there, or there's stuff written in the body text that could have been there, and the whole thing could have been 30 pages shorter by not having that whole, because there were times, I think the longest one I counted was maybe 3 pages worth nothing in that column at all, and then the 4th page had like 1 line of less than 10 words, and then another empty page. So there's literally like, you're talking like 5, 6, 7 pages in a row where a third of the page is empty, like just because of the layout choice. To me, it was just a poor choice. And I don't understand the use of the blue boxes for notes when you have that entire column on the side. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. I just think, I think the typeface changes were just inconsistent, and if I was just going by layout, it would be honestly be like a 3 or a 4. I just think
Yeah,
it's
I
not
was thinking a 4 for
bad.
layout and like a
Yeah.
8 for art. You know,
Yeah, so let's average that to
6.
I mean, the art really pulls it up, and
Art really does. Yeah.
it makes me not want to give it that high of a score because of how much I dislike the layout. And again, it's not that it's not completely legible. It's just the use that it seems like they were going for was just poorly
Right.
done. Usability, fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it refers to page lines so often. It has so many like inline page references, and they aren't hyperlinked. But bookmarks are great and they're plentiful.
Mhm.
The table of
Mhm.
contents is hyperlinked. There
Mhm.
is a list of terms in the back for newer people into the RPG space. There's some good tables in the back too for rounding out a character. I would say that putting the rule set 30 pages in it does actually hamper the usability of this as a game and system.
Mhm.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. I also think that, I think the digital tools for the most part, obviously, we would love it. I wouldn't mind the lack of in-page hyperlinks or inline hyperlinks as much, except they use them a lot, which is
Yeah,
great
they
for
use them a lot.
direction. Yeah, it's great for direction, but if you're going to put it into your PDF, it would be really nice to have those hyperlinks. But to me, that's like I personally find it necessary, but in the course of what we use for scoring, that's the one I find the least in, like, I give the least. I know that's one of the hardest ones to do. So I weigh that a little bit less than like even just having a fucking like hyperlink table of contents and bookmarks. So the bookmarks
Yeah,
are fantastic. They're very thorough, so it doesn't bother me as much. I will say, like you said, there are, you don't know for 28 pages that it's a dice pool game. It's never mentioned anywhere that it's a dice pool game.
yeah,
There's even in the test, there's that random part where like there's a very important part of the test where you always roll at least one die, and it's like the end of the next page or like 2 pages later that should have been put. There's a lot of stuff that I would have rearranged to help with usability. There's things like bleed where like we had to dig around and try to figure out what it meant to me. That's a usability issue. I think the layout itself
yeah,
is a usability issue because that's where you could have like written a lot of that stuff in. Like anytime it references another page, if there's a whole blank column on the side, you can give like
blur.
quick bit and then say for more go to this page. I
Yeah,
mean, I just think the layout is something that should have helped the usability and it hurt it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty average. I'm probably about like a 6 for this too.
I was about to say I'm probably about a 5 for this.
I'm
So
good with the 5. I'm good with the
yeah.
5. um the art really pulled up the one above it. Rule set, this is hard.
I like a lot of things about the rule set. I like the dice pool system. I don't I kind of like the drive stats as like a pool that you spend as a resource. I don't love how, I mean, obviously we don't like how luck is regenerated. Um but I like the idea of like making abilities for like a lighter weight game, and like, yeah, you can just do an ability. Like I think that was a cool addition to this. And like we've played several dice pool systems now, and I have one that it's like I don't have that. I'm not gonna add it to mine, but I think it's cool. Um, yeah, I think a lot of stuff is explained fairly poorly, and I think there's too many keywords. Like I mean, we could stripped out a ton of these words and just called the thing the thing.
Mhm.
For the rule set, I'm probably actually like about at a 6, honestly.
Yeah.
What are you
I
at?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's the thing. This is one of those tough ones because I really do like the bones of this for all the reasons that you just said.
Yeah,
But like my thing is like you barely even need stats for this because you could just have like your attributes and then say that like you get just like pluses at like, so for example like mana, you
mm-hmm.
get +1 mana to start and you spend it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could just have mind and you spend your mind points. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Like, the derived stat is using the same number. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you're not
then
deriving
whenever you
anything,
make a
you know what I
mind,
mean?
well, if you're spending mind, whenever you make a mind roll, are you still rolling all of your mind, or do those go away? Because the nice thing about the drive thing is they create these pools that slowly drain, so you
Yeah.
run out of ability points. Like, you don't want to run out of your
Yeah.
stats, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I mean, you could, though. I mean, that's a very Karenish thing to do and a very into the odd, like actually using your stats. But no, I agree with you. But like, again, so I like the bones. I like the dice pool. I like that. There's just bad applications to a lot of it. Like,
yeah,
poor explanation of defense rolls, poor explanation with like a lot of stuff in the bestiary. That's the thing is, I think I like all the bones and I dislike a lot of the flesh. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm probably at about a 6 too. Like, again, like this is one of those games that I really think like a 2E is a game that I would really, really enjoy. I see a really, really good game in here. I just think there's a lot of it's extremely inelegant.
Yeah.
And I feel like there were a lot of choices made where there was like, this is the idea I want, so I'm putting it in, and didn't fix the problem. They just put in what they wanted to put in, or they changed their mind and didn't fix all the things they should have changed with it. So I'm about a 6-2. Originality.
Yeah, so it's I don't know why I just turned sound on for our stream. It's not really like derived from any setting. It doesn't really reference any setting. There isn't a lot about it that is like an original concept to this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
This is one of those ones where, like, and again, the people out there who love to talk and hear themselves talk, call it whatever the fuck you want. A game is a game. The book contains what I would call a system.
Right.
To me, this is a system. This isn't what I would call a game. Like, it's a game in that there are rules and stuff like that. But like, to me, like a quote unquote full game, there's like, I would call, and again, this is a game, but to me, like the full part of it is something that also comes with a little bit of setting and stuff like that too, like a Merkborg, or like even Into the Odd, or
yeah, there's not even really an implied setting into this. No, you know?
This is like Cairn and Knave to me. None of those have setting. They're just systems. Right. Knave to me, I haven't seen 2E. I mean, there's more to it too, but like those are, so I would lump this in with Knave and Cairn and like Durf and stuff like that, where the implication is you got swords and shields, but other than that, it's just a system. You know what I mean? So
originality in the rules then.
Yeah. I think that it obviously there's nothing new, but I think there's a really cool, I think there are some different ways that things are used in an interesting, fun ways. Because like you said, like what's the closest system to this that you can think of?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. Like, I really couldn't peg one, you know?
You're right. Yeah.
So,
and I like it. I mean, once again, I like the bones of it. So
yeah, I do enjoy the bones. I think the dice pool is great. I think the abilities are great. If the abilities had actual point values and stuff like that, I think it would really shine a lot more. Yeah, I think the core of this is really good. What do you think for originality then?
I think a 6.
I think a 6 is good for this. Yeah. Value. So on Drive-Through RPG, the PDF is $10. Nice. And again, this is a 100-page PDF. The print-on-demand PDF, hardcover, standard color, $35. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredibly affordable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Death in Space is $35, but like that's one of the rare ones that's just really good.
Yeah, that one I also think I've said it, but like, man, this is incredibly affordable for $35.
That should be like a $50 book. Yeah, that should be like a $50 book. But I mean, 100. The thing that, so you don't get setting with this, but like on top of the rule set, the loot tables are cool. The bestiary is huge. The monster generator is really neat. So you do get a lot of tools with the system. The system does come with tools. It's really neat. You do get an adventure in it, which is great. So in this, you get the rule set, you get the adventure, Oh, with the map, there is a map that comes with it in the PDF stuff. You get the bestiary, the optional pre-made characters, tables for rolling. Yeah, so you get all the stuff that we talked about. So I think it's fine. I think $35 for this and a hardback. I think it's interesting that there is no, unless I specifically clicked and that there's different things, I don't see a soft cover option. Which is interesting. There's a pay what you want character sheet, which is cool. But yeah, I don't see a soft cover option. I just see the hardcover option. So that would raise the price. I mean, I think that this as soft cover at like, $20-25 would be more affordable. But I think it's fine. I think I'm probably at like a what are you at for this?
A 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah, I'm probably at a 6 for this too, because I think there is like maybe one other adventure, but there's not like a lot of extra. I mean, it did just come out, a couple months ago.
Right.
So that's it. That is TLD RPG. This is another one of those games very similar to Mecha Concrete, where also a dice pool system.
So a dice pool system.
So that'll be a 29 that I think would really benefit from a second edition. I think the art's fantastic. I think a new layout and a fine-tooth comb through the rules to fix some like kind of like glaring mistakes that I think are glaring. I think the abilities have to be a mistake. I genuinely think those have to be a mistake.
They genuinely have to be a mistake.
I think that like if they fix that, if they fix luck, if they explain things a little bit better and relayed it out, I think this would all of these points, this could probably shoot up by a good like 8 points at least.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Just fixing the errors that are in it and changing the layout a little bit, I think would easily jump a lot of these points from 6s up to 7s and some of them into 8s. And that's TLD RPG from Billy Blue. We'll make sure all the links are down below to Billy's art, which is fantastic, to the game. And yeah, that's all we got. What we have coming up.
Oh, what do we have coming up? Tell me.
So if you're listening to this now, there's no way I'm going to get this episode out today. So go watch our interview that is going to happen on Friday. We are going to be talking to Crescent Chimera for Astro Prisma. My goodness, did that project come out of fucking nowhere, dude?
I know. I'm so excited to talk to them because who are they? Where did this come from? Yeah, what?
Insane. The
so
project
excited.
Looks gorgeous. They've done all of it, apparently. Like all the layout, all the writing, all the art. It looks beautiful. They sent me an asset package. It's got like 3D like moving GIFs and renders and shit. Like the quality of everything beginning to end for someone that literally just like popped up out of fucking nowhere. This project looks absolutely stunning, and I'm so excited to, like you just said, like figure out who the fuck this person is that came out of nowhere.
It's gonna be cool.
And just, my gosh, it's beautiful. A one-person team doing all of that is insane, and to have so much of it looks like it's done before the game's even out is crazy. And then on Monday, we're going to be doing the second part of our trophy side quest. We already did Trophy Dark. We're going to be doing Trophy Gold. We're going to be continuing the adventure kind of from A Warm and Pleasant Hum into our adventure. It'll be another Michael Van Vliet adventure into Trophy Gold. Same crew is back Monday. And then next Friday, we're going to be having Christian Sorrell Meatcastle on to do an actual play of Tacticians of the game that they are. Yeah, you can snag it right now, but they're Wolves Upon the Coast funding
it. Yeah.
Whatsy. I love calling it that. It makes me giggle. What's that look for?
Why would you do that? Why would you say that?
It's Whatsy.
I know it is, but like, why?
It's fantastic. You can go get it now. It's a work in progress. It's like monthly updates, but it's playable now. It's beautiful. There's more art rolling out for it. And Meatcastle is one of the best people in the scene. And is a fantastic game. I got to play test it. We've talked on the show about it, so very excited to have them on. And then the week after that, Jert is back for our Not Cat Chats episode 3.
Just a slow couple weeks for us, you know?
Just stacking everything in. Other projects to look at: Go Back Karen box set 2E from Space Penguin. Go Back Gardens of Yen. That's Soul Muppet. Yeah. And that's what we got. That's our episode. We will see you tomorrow, same time, to talk with Astro Prisma, or to talk about Astro Prisma. That's all I got. I will see you later, buddy.
Oh, excuse me. Bye.
Bye.